Hello everyone and welcome back. Welcome to the crafty decor adventure. Olivia at Olivias at home, and I have my trusty assistant Benji Bear here. I know he brings a smile to your hearts, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you guys 10 DIY Dollar Tree fall decor garlands and wreaths. You guys know I love to share with y'all how you can make your homes boutique gorgeous on a budget, and I truly believe that y'all don't have to break the bank to have a fabulous, amazing home. Benji Bear is dressed up in his little scarf, and he wants to say hi to all of his Benji Bear fans out there. But listen, let's go ahead and jump into the video. Without further ado, go ahead and plug in your glue guns, get out your glitter and paint, and let's get to crafty.
So for this DIY, I want to share with y'all how I'm going to take this thrift store garland. It's just a greenery garland and a roll of mesh from Hobby Lobby. The mesh from Hobby Lobby is actually $9.99, but with 40% off, it's a pretty good deal and it's really quality. Now I'm going to take and I'm going to start and zip tie it to the end of the garland and then make a poof. So this is probably about a 12-inch poof, and you don't have to be specific to measure it, just kind of eyeball it. Really, it's not going to be that big of a deal, but if you want to get crazy, you could get out a measuring tool and measure each poof individually. The thrift store garland, I also attach end to end. It's going to be a little bit smaller than the size of my doorway. This is going to be for my entryway doorway. And again, I'm just making about 12-inch poofs as I go along, and I'm zip tying them for each poof. Now, I will tell you guys that it probably would be best to just use a fall garland, but I will tell you also that I'm trying to use all of the goodies that I have in my craft stash and not buy more supplies when most of the garland is going to be covered up anyway. The next thing I want to do is make some really fabulous bows, and I'm going to take this pretty Dollar Tree leaf ribbon. Using my easy bow maker, I'm going to make a really beautiful little bow. You go about 6 inches either side of your easy bow maker, and that's going to create your first little loop. You guys can also pop over to my YouTube video where I'm making big bows by hand with my Olivia bow method, and that takes no tools. But for my garlands, I usually do like to use this easy bow maker. However, really any nice big fluffy bow will work. Now for the next part of this bow, I'm going to use a Dollar Tree little red truck ribbon. I think this ribbon is so cute and adorable and so festive and perfect for fall. That's going to be my next layer. And if you are using an easy bow maker, again, it's going to be about 6 inches or 12 inches across. Now I'm using this beautiful ribbon from Hobby Lobby. It has beautiful burlap and pumpkins. I think it's so pretty, and the deep burgundy colors that are in the pumpkins are going to go along with the leaves that I found at the Goodwill a couple of weeks back that have like a really pretty deep burgundy color in them. And now I'm going to use another pumpkin ribbon. I went a little crazy with my pumpkin ribbon and leaf patterns, and I don't know, I do like some really busy bows, so it probably would have been good to throw in just like a solid color bow. But again, I am trying to use all of the ribbon that I have in my stash. It's kind of what I do once I get to be about mid seasonal for my decorating. I try not to accumulate more supplies. I really push myself to use what I have. Now, I am going to be picking up some mums and pumpkins for outside my home, but I have already decorated my bedroom, my mantle. I've kind of fluffed up a little bit in my kitchen and entryway, but definitely not there yet. So those will be some spaces we'll probably work on next week. Now I'm going to add my pretty little garland to the top of my doorway. I have nails already up there. If you guys are wondering how I'm attaching it, there's some long nails. There's 3 of them, and then I just used a zip tie and zip tie the garland to the top of that. Now I'm taking those thrift store pieces that I was telling you guys about. These are some really pretty kind of deep burgundy, I want to almost say maple leaves, and again I'm going to zip tie those to the top. And I apologize, my camera got a little fuzzy there in the reflection of the light. Now I'm adding in those bows, and I did make let's see, 3, 4, 5 bows, 6 bows total. So I just used basically all the ribbon that was on those rolls. So it was 4 rolls of Dollar Tree ribbon and then 2 rolls of the Hobby Lobby ribbon, and I'm just zip tying this all together. I did have to anchor down my garland, and now I'm adding some pretty just kind of like well, it's not greenery, it's sunflowers and then some yellow flowers and then again some more leaves. And I just zip tied those to the top and kind of fluffed out each side. Try not to be too hard on yourself. Sometimes I have a little bit of a hard time when I'm filming and then trying to look back at what I've got going on if it's not always symmetrical, but I do my best. Give yourself some grace is what I'm trying to say. So anyway, I'm going to zip tie some similar florals to the other side of this. And when I was telling you guys about anchoring your garland, I used another little nail on this side, because my house does catch the wind. If you guys can see on that left side, there's kind of a wall there. So that side of the garland doesn't fly around, but the other side always flies around, and sometimes it can kind of flop into the door, which is a little bit annoying. And now what I'm doing right now is I'm just digging into my craft stash and I'm pulling out any little leaves and biddly bobs and popping them on there. Now this beautiful wreath is from Hobby Lobby. It was a bit pricey, but it is 40% off now. And I'm adding in one of these bows, and this is going to tie into my garland, so it's going to make it look like it's a set, which I love. I'm kind of that matchy girl. And then I'm just going to give my bows a really good fluffing. And I do have to kind of go back and fluff a little bit. They tend to get kind of blown around a little bit. Now, my porch is a covered porch. So if you guys don't have a covered porch to do this on, you can always do this on your entryway, on the interior of your home. I don't know if you guys have thought about that, but I know some people, say, oh, they can't do it on their front porch. Well, do it inside your home or in your dining room or whatnot. Now, this is just a little buffalo check plaid rug and a home sweet home rug from Hobby Lobby. And again, 40% off on these, so pretty good deal. Now, my ferns are looking rather nice. It has still been in the 80s and 90s probably here. So I'm keeping my ferns out for now until I go mum shopping, probably this weekend. And then I just use some of the Dollar Tree, those metal stakes. I popped the corn and the sunflower in there. I added a cute little thankful pumpkin sign and then just another little fake flower in there. I thought it looked really kind of cute. I mean, usually I don't decorate my ferns, but hey, why not? If they're still looking pretty, might as well get a little bit more life out of them. Now I'm using this little thrift store chair. I had recovered it with some pretty buffalo check plaid fabric, and then I'm just going to pop in this little Dollar General basket, and I'm using basically things that I picked up at the thrift store. I found this little blankie at the thrift store, so if they get a little damp, it's not going to be the end of the world. I do get some rain on my front porch, I will tell you guys that. But I usually just launder things as the season goes along and then pop them into storage and kind of just call them my outside decor. Now I am trying to kind of anchor this against the wind by popping in that little thrift store jar, the welcome sign inside of the whole basket fandango. And then I'm decorated with some pretty leaves and florals and whatnot. So there you guys have my little front porch. Those two little pumpkins you guys see also on my front porch. Now those I found at the thrift store last year, as well as these lanterns and that big gourd. Those were all at my local Red Racks, I believe. Now I do have to drive about 40 minutes north to find that, but they have some really nice stuff, and it is a little bit pricier. It's not like rock bottom thrift store prices, but I think it's a pretty good deal. In fact, my son's girlfriend, Skylar, she picked the little lanterns for me. She was out and about. It's so cute. My son and his girlfriend like to go thrifting, and so that's just super fun. So here is how this space turned out. What do you guys think about this? I know it seems like a bit going on, and I actually do end up kind of changing things around a bit. I don't know if you guys like to kind of play around with your decor. I do, but I ended up taking the soft blanket scarf off and adding in an orange blanket and kind of rearranging the signs and the fall goodies just a little bit, to just kind of get them in and around exactly how I wanted them, I guess is what you would say. I really wanted this welcome sign to have a little bit more height. Yeah, I felt like it was kind of getting buried. So I popped it on top of a little pumpkin, and then there was that. So I don't know, I love really getting festive with my front porch. I feel like when you have a nice little greeting for your door and you come home, it's just a nice way to feel cozy when you first enter your home. So for today's fall treat, I wanted to share with you guys these Grand's pumpkin spice pumpkin rolls or cinnamon rolls, pumpkin spice cinnamon rolls, I guess they are. They're really large. They come 5 to a pack, and they have this icing that's like a brown sugar kind of icing. They're really super, super delicious, you guys. I kind of had one for dinner. Basically, they're really filling, but I started like nibbling on one, and then I got to the center and ended up just eating a whole one. But they're super yummy if you guys have a chance to find those. And then I had to share with you guys this super adorable clip of Benji Bear and Theo. So Benji Bear is my dog, and then Theo is my son and his girlfriend's puppy dog, and he comes down over the weekends some while they go out in the lake with her parents, and they are best buds. Theo is about 6 months younger than Benji Bear, I believe. And then also last weekend, I have to share with you guys, I made Paula Deen's easy, yummy, creamy potato soup. Okay, so I'm going to share with you guys the recipe. It's super easy, and I'll drop it in the comment section for you below. But it's 2 cups of chicken broth. You're going to cook it on low in your crock pot, and then 1 family size can or 2 cans of your cream of chicken soup. And I don't know why. I was watching this back and I was like, why did I hold the measuring cup backwards? And you guys may hear Benji Bear in the background as well, barking right now while I'm trying to do this voiceover. But so 2 cups of your chicken broth, and it actually called for 2 cans, so I'd use 2 cups, and then about a 1/4 cup of onion, and then a family size or 2 cans of your Campbell's cream of chicken soup. And once I had the soup and the chicken broth in together, I did take a whisk and whisk that up. That way it was kind of more mixed. And then you're going to need a bag of your hash browns, shredded hash browns. I chose these all natural ones. They were from our local grocery store. I kind of started shopping more at the grocery store over Super Center. But anyway, I'm just going to add that to the entire thing, and you're going to cook it on low for 5 hours. So this is super easy, you guys. You guys know I love easy. And then you're also going to add a little bit of pepper. I believe it was a 1/4 or an 1/8 cup of pepper, or not cup. Oh my goodness, not cup, you guys. I did add a little bit more chicken broth to the top of that, but you add pepper and salt. So I think I used an 1/8 teaspoon of salt. And then I just kind of took my salt shaker and added a bunch of salt. So, and then I also added a little bit of sour cream at the very end. And then you're also going to add a package of cream cheese 30 minutes before it's done. So I actually added it in an hour. I'm going to share with you guys how to make a super cute, adorable, easy little Halloween garland. Now I am going to start with kind of these like little branchy pieces that I found at my local thrift store. I'm just going to take some zip ties and I'm going to zip tie them kind of end to end to stabilize them. The next thing I want to do is take some of this Dollar Tree Deco mesh, and I'm just cutting it in 12-inch pieces. And I believe I used 3 rolls of Deco mesh for this project. A quick little tip that I have for you guys is to grab a cute little laundry basket, put it to the side, and throw all your mesh in there. That way the mesh isn't sticking to things that are on your craft table. Okay, so now I just took 3 of the pieces of Deco mesh and I kind of burrito rolled them, and then I zip tied them onto my little garland here. Okay, so the burrito roll is you just take it and you roll it up like it's a burrito or a curlicue. And the Dollar Tree Deco mesh is already so tightly wound that you almost don't have to do a whole lot of rolling. And so I just kind of started in the center and worked my way out and tried to space it as closely as possible. Now I have another Deco mesh project in this video, so I didn't want to use all of my Deco mesh. Generally when I go to Dollar Tree, I pick up 5 rolls because 5 rolls of the Dollar Tree Deco mesh will cover 1 entire wreath, or it'll do 2 garlands. So that's another little quick tip from me to you. So just continue to add mesh, and you guys can go grab like a tree branch, or you can use, you know, a summer greenery piece to put these on. If you guys saw my doorway garland, I just used a piece of greenery. You can grab them at the thrift store, your local craft store, or sometimes even at Dollar Tree. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to do was make some fluffy bows. I had recently popped into the Dollar Tree and I found some cute little Halloween ribbon. So I'm going to start out with this spider web ribbon. Now they don't have a whole super ton of like amazing, I mean, I guess this is actually pretty good for Dollar Tree, but you're just going to take it and loop it over on itself, the ribbon that is. And I'm making this a 14-inch long cut. So the next one, I want to make about a 13-inch long cut, and I'm going to stagger my colors. So we'll go black, orange, and then the black with the pumpkins. I'm really not a super fan of spooky, but I thought that this would be super cute just to have out in the studio, or if I decide to transition my entryway table with some Halloween or whatnot. I usually don't throw Halloween out until October, to be totally honest with you, because I go full fall, and then I'll transition some of my florals and whatnot into Halloween. Okay, so I'm basically going on each one of my ribbons. You just take the ribbon, loop it over on itself, trim it off, but I went 14, 13, 12, and then 11. So it's kind of staggering down, and some of them aren't completely perfect. So you're just going to pinch it in the center. Now you can slit the inside of the ribbon there, or you can just zip tie it together. I don't feel like it makes as nice of a bow. I didn't slit mine, but if you guys have seen my Olivia bow that I make, you make like a little tiny slit on either side, and that allows your ribbon to kind of balloon and puff out. So I probably needed to have worked a little bit more with that, but it's okay. It's going to be popped into a garland, and we're going to put other goodies in. I'm going to take some of this pretty sparkly ribbon, and I'm just going to tie my little bow on and then give it a nice good fluffing, and there you guys have that. Okay, so Dollar Tree has these oversized spiders. I'm not a fan of spiders, but I thought these orange sparkly ones were pretty darn cute. And since it's Halloween and I really didn't want to put anything too spooky on here, I just thought a spider would be super cute. So I'm going to take this orange ribbon that matches the spider, because I don't really want you to see that I tied that on. So I just tied it on with the orange ribbon, and you can't see that at all. And then I'm going to alternate bow, spider, bow, spider, bow, spider. So that'll give it some funness. And honestly, you guys can dig into your craft stash and really look and see what you've got. You could add pumpkins to this. You could add little bats, some little broomsticks, little Dollar Tree signs, whatever you want to like throw into your garland. I've seen so many creative people make really creative garlands, and you guys can really pop anything that goes along with the color scheme and the theme into your garland, and you're good to go. And keep playing with those bows. They will improve over time. These got a little fluffy on me, but hey, you guys can also use your easy bow maker if you want to. So give your bows some nice good fluffing and continue to doll up your garland. So on the very end, I added some cute little pre-made bows that have skulls in them. They're so fun and easy to pop on. And then here is how our garland looks. Now mixed in with that fall tree over there, it's a little bit much, but if you just take the garland and move over, my Christmas or my crafting studio gets a little crazy around this time of year, and it's going to get even crazier next week when I begin to pull out some of my Christmas. I said it, you guys, Christmas is on its way. Hey, we have a lot of crafting to do. We've done a lot for fall and Halloween, so if you guys need inspiration, pop back on some of my videos and definitely catch up on that. But I think this is a super adorable garland, great and fun and fabulous, especially if you have kiddos. They really like to, go full out for Halloween. For the first Dollar Tree DIY, we're going to create a super adorable pumpkin banner using these Dollar Tree wooden cutouts. I'm painting 2 of them with this orange acrylic paint, and then I'm going to take 3 of them, and I'm going to Mod Podge this pretty paper onto the front of them. So I'm just tracing out the paper to fit the size of the wooden cutout, and then once I have that done, I'm going to add a generous layer of Mod Podge. Be generous with your Mod Podge here because the wooden cutouts do absorb the Mod Podge quickly, so you kind of have to work a little bit quickly. Now I'm adding the little Mackenzie Childs checkerboard kind of scrapbook paper, and I did get this at Hobby Lobby. And then you're just going to add another really generous layer of Mod Podge to the front of your wooden cutout, and voila, you have a bunch of really cute little pumpkins. Now I'm going to take this Dollar Tree furniture marker pen. You find it in the automotive section at Dollar Tree or the Fix-It section, and I'm just going to use it to color some little ridges in my pumpkin just to give it a little bit more detail. Now this step is optional, but that little bit of detail kind of is going to make your item look a little bit more high end. I also colored the pumpkin stem. I also had some paints out, so I decided to add a little bit more detail with some white paint. So I'm just using some of the Dollar Tree acrylic white paint, and I'm adding some stripes down the kind of the front of my pumpkins just to give it a little bit of dimension. It gives it that boutique finish. Once I have that step finished, I'm going to take some of the Dollar Tree floral wire. I chose the gold, and I'm just going to wire my pumpkins together. So I'm leaving several inches between each one, and I'm wrapping the piece of wire around the top, and that's going to help it hang nicely. I hate when I make a garland and the things like flop around, so the wire is actually the perfect way to make them hang just where they hang perfectly. I hope that makes sense. And there's already little holes in the top of this. Now you could always use some jute twine as well, or any pretty ribbon would work. Here it is popped into my beautiful fall display, and oh my goodness, this is probably one of my favorite videos I have ever made for you guys, so stay tuned because we are going to do some amazing crafts, and I'm going to be sharing with you guys some really fun and those flimsy Dollar Tree garlands and some Dollar Tree Deco mesh, and I'm going to really jazz up this garland. So you're just going to take a Dollar Tree pipe cleaner and you're going to wrap it around the end of your garland and your Deco mesh, and then you're going to pull about 6 to 8 inches of the Deco mesh and just kind of make little poofs and tie your pipe cleaner on. Now you're going to twist your pipe cleaner about twice and leave it on there. Don't cut it off because you're going to add multiple layers to really get this baby nice and full. So you're going to continue to tie on your Deco mesh until you get to the end of your garland, and I believe it was about 8 poofs, give or take. Again, this doesn't need to be perfect at all because you're going to have so many layers on top of it, you're not even going to see what's going on very much underneath. So once you get to the end of your garland, you're just going to trim off that Deco mesh, and then you're going to take the Deco mesh and begin to run it back down the other end. You're going to get about halfway through and realize you've run out of that roll and start with another roll. So each Dollar Tree fall garland is going to use about 1.5 rolls of this Deco mesh, and you guys choose whatever color you love. I happen to come across a lot of orange Deco mesh at Dollar Tree, so I went ahead and used that, but it would also be beautiful with the green, the yellows. They do some really beautiful browns as well. So just continue to make your poofs and tie them on with that pipe cleaner. I like to twist my pipe cleaner about twice. Now once you get to the end of your garland, you can go ahead and trim that off. Now I'm just using some burlap ribbon. Now burlapfabric.com sent me this ribbon. What a blessing, because I love to craft. They're also offering you guys a $5 off coupon if you want to take advantage of that. They have huge rolls of burlap, which makes it really great if you're doing huge garlands. So I'm just taking the garland and I'm adding it again over the mesh, and I'm just kind of creating little poofs. Again, this doesn't have to be perfect, you guys, and even kind of a little bit messy is fun. So I ran the burlap down one end and then down the other. Now I created 3 garlands like this to make it big enough to fit my front door, but use whatever you have, and however many you need will work perfectly for whatever size door you have or whatever means you have. And so I'm also taking one roll roll of the green Deco mesh. Now it didn't go the whole length of this garland, so I added in some yellow on the other side. Again, once you guys see the final product, you'll understand that it really doesn't matter so much because you're going to be adding ribbons on top. Now burlap fabric also carries these beautiful large rolls of orange ribbon and the pretty leaf ribbon and also some chevron ribbon. Now if you're going to be doing a super huge garland like this and you want to add lots of bows like I did, you may want to look around online and just see. I'll leave their coupon code down below. It's $5 off your purchase. Now I did use my Pro Bow, the hand bow maker, to make these kind of big fluffy bows, and I'm adding it on to the garland with a pipe cleaner. So I made 4 huge bows. I added them 2 to each side and then 1 at the top. So 5 total. I added these big giant bows and then also these beautiful Dollar Tree pumpkins. I used some of the Dollar Tree burlap pumpkins and also some of the white pumpkins. And then I just added in some more pretty ribbons along the way. I kind of just dug into my stash and got really creative and just went for it. I also added in a little bit more of a leaf garland. I believe I picked this one up at Walmart. Again, I had it in my stash, so I flopped it in there. For the next DIY, I want to share with you all how to make a really easy beaded garland. Okay, take some of that Dollar Tree floral wire and one of these wooden beads, and then wrap or string the bead through the floral wire, and then loop the end of the floral wire onto the end of the bead and twist tie that onto there. Then you can take all these beads, which I ordered a pack off of Amazon. It was 12 bucks. I believe it came with 120 beads in it, so not a bad deal if you like to craft and decorate with these fun trendy little wooden beads. But I'm just going to string these together. I made that pumpkin sign earlier in this video, and so I wanted to just add some wooden beads to the front of it. I thought that that would give it like a really nice touch. And then as you guys can see, once you get to the end, you can do the same thing. You take that piece of floral wire, it's about 1 inch or so long, maybe 2 inches, and then you just wrap it around the bead and then wrap it around that end part. I hope that makes sense. Now I'm going to take some Dollar Tree yarn and I'm going to wind it around my hand. So just the largest part of my hand to make a cute little easy tassel. And this is a little bit of a sloppy tassel, but I think it's easy. So once you have it wound around, you can take an extra piece of string and tie that off to the top. So you're going to see all the kind of like little dangling loops. Take your scissors, trim that off, and bam, you guys have a tassel. And then you can tie that on to the end of your bead with an extra piece of yarn, or you can just use some of the yarn that's actually on the tassel, although I recommend using an extra piece of yarn because you don't want your tassel to break free. Now, I felt like this was a little bit of a flimsy tassel. I guess I'm a little bit over the top and extra, and so after I gave my little tassel a trim up to kind of even things out, I decided to make it a little bit thicker by adding another bit of tassel to the other side of the bead, so it's kind of hanging off of one side, and then again I'm just winding it around the largest part of my hand. So these actually you could make with kiddos because there's no hot glue required. You know, you could use safety scissors if they're little ones or help them with that part. So then again, once you have it wound around your hand, you just take that piece of string, tie it off at the top. I do like to tie it like at least twice, that way it stays on really nicely. Pull it apart there and then trim off that little extra spot there, and then you can kind of tie that off at the end, and that's going to give you a nice thick fluffy tassel, which is exactly what you want. You could also do this with some of the jute twine. For the life of me, I've either used all of my jute twine up or I can't find it. I reorganize my craft stuff. If you guys are like me, do you guys organize and organize yourself into a mess? So I guess that's what happened with it. But anyway, here is how it came out. And then I just kind of drooped it over my cute little wooden sign. And I just thought it looked so trendy and so cute. And that little bauble of beads is so fun. And hey, you guys could use the colored beads that are sold at Dollar Tree in their Crafters Square section, whatever you prefer. But I do like the wooden beads because that's kind of the trend that you see going on everywhere at Hobby Lobby and whatnot. For this Dollar Tree DIY, I want to share with you guys how to make a super amazing little fall wreath on a budget using all Dollar Tree supplies. So from the Dollar Tree, I have one of these longer signs, which you don't necessarily need, but I hot glued the home sign on top of that because it has holes in the top, and then I'm just going to take and overlay that on top of this wreath form from the Dollar Tree, and then take some zip ties and zip tie the home sign to the top of the wreath form. Now this is a little trick that I like to use seasonally, and it saves a lot of deco mesh. So I'm going to take this deco mesh from the Dollar Tree and I'm going to cut it in about 10 to 11 inch strips. It doesn't have to be perfectly precise, but try to get them as similar as possible. And I'm going to use 2 rolls of deco mesh for this entire wreath. So this is just a little hack from me to you. If you want to use less deco mesh on your wreath, you can always just put that sign right there in the center. And then I'm going to take 2 bundles of deco mesh, pinch them together with my fingers, and then add in 2 of these bows. And I cut my ribbons about 11 to 12 inches. That way they were a little bit longer than the deco mesh. But you could cut them, about 10 inches. They're just going to get swallowed a little bit more into the deco mesh. And then using the zip ties, I'm going to do another one of the bundles, and I am zip tying them to the center rung of the wreath form. So again, just pinch some deco mesh together and then add in a cute little piece of ribbon. And I like to layer my ribbons. That makes it a little bit more full and fluffy. I did use 4 rolls of Dollar Tree ribbon. I used the plaid, the orange, and 2 rolls of the Dollar Tree buffalo check plaid for my bow. One for the bow and then 1 for the wreath. Okay, so you really just want to split your mesh on either side and just continuing adding bundles. I think I added 6 of the deco mesh bundles with the ribbon on there. Now, if you want a little bit more of a full wreath, I suggest to cut up some extra deco mesh and ribbon, and you can really get super full with it. Because this ribbon was thicker, it actually filled out a lot more of the wreath form, and I was kind of surprised. And plus, I'm going to put a giant bow on top, so I think it came out really cute. But it depends on how full you like your deco mesh to look. And so again, I'm just doing the same thing on this side. You bundle that mesh, you add in a layer or 2 of ribbon, zip tie it onto the wreath form, and bam. Now I'm going to share with you guys how to make a super easy little bow for fall. You're going to measure your first row of loops from your hand to your elbow. It's about 12 inches, and loop it over on itself about 4 times, or however many loops you want to do, and then cut that off. And don't mind me here, I am struggling so much with my scissors. I've really got to get new scissors for this crafting season. So anyway, now I'm going to take some buffalo check plaid ribbon, loop it over on itself, and then trim that off. I'm going to make a 3-layer loopy bow here. This is what I call my Olivia bow. It's super easy to make. It's a no-brainer. You just take ribbon, loop it over on itself, and then layer on top of each other. So I chose the plaid, the black and white buffalo check plaid, to mix in with the wreath, and then this Dollar Tree farm truck pumpkin ribbon. And so then I'm just going to layer all these together. I'm going to zip tie them off in the center, pinch them in the center, zip tie them really good. That's going to pinch everything really nice and tightly together. And then you can zip tie them on to the top of your wreath. I like to do mine off to the right hand side and then fluffy up my bow. Now, as always, I tell you guys, kind of play around with the bows and the loops and the ribbons and really give them a good fluff it up. That is my secret to my bows. So then I'm going to take another zip tie, and I'm just going to zip tie the little bow to the top of my wreath. I love making these. I really love making them for my kitchen. They're a little bit delicate, I guess, with all of the ribbons. So maybe you might not want to put this outside unless it's on a covered porch, which I do some, but they really are fun to put on the interior of your home as well, your dining room door. I like putting mine on my kitchen door. And then I'm just going to I took the rest of the ribbon that was on those rolls, and I just added them next to the bow, zip tied it on, and left the ribbon loops kind of long, and then I'm going to curl them with my hand. And this is how my super adorable little deco mesh home sign turned out. This wreath is on a total budget. I mean, it's $2 for the sign, $2 and some change now. Dollar Tree went up 25 cents. And then your wreath form, and then just your ribbon and 2 rolls of deco mesh. So really, this is maybe $15 at the most. And we have a fun and fabulous wreath on a total budget. I hope you guys are inspired. Grab some ribbon, some mesh, and don't be scared of that mesh. It's not as hard to work with as you might think. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, we're going to repurposed one of those Dollar Tree summer signs. It said, "Oh Sweet Summer." I chalk painted the other sign just with some chalk paint that I got at Walmart, and then I'm going to add this happy fall, y'all. I made sure that I found a printable that had a black background since I did chalk paint the little sign with a black background, and I'll put a link to where you can find this printable. But it turned out really perfect. I was out of Mod Podge, so I just used some Elmer's glue to glue this on, but Mod Podge would definitely work as well. Now I'm taking some Dollar Tree ribbon. I want to add that to the top of the jar, and then you guys, once you get this little jar decorated, the sky is the limit. Now I'm going to share with you guys for the next Dollar Tree DIY, we are going to put it on a burlap wreath, and I'm going to share with you guys this wreath tutorial right now.
I'm taking some burlap, and actually I got this burlap from burlapfabric.com. I do have a $5 off coupon, but I'm taking this little pipe cleaner and then one of those Dollar Tree 12-inch wreath bases, and I'm just going to wire the pipe cleaner on. Now this is the ruffle method. If you guys need more help, this is the ruffle method for a burlap wreath. So you're just going to wire your burlap on, and this is really easy. Trust me, if I can do it, you guys can do it. So you're just going to pull your first loop of burlap through, and then you're going to pull your second loop of burlap through, and then your third loop of burlap through. So you can see on the wire wreath form, there's 3 layers there, so you just pull it through each layer, and then you're going to take and you're going to kind of squish it down. So you just kind of push it down with your fingers, and then you're going to take it in the back, and you're just going to twist that 3 times. So while you're holding your little loop at the top, you're going to twist in the back, and then you're going to bring it back up through the bottom, and you're going to start your next row of little puffs here. So you're going to pull it through again, and then you're going to pull it through again on the next rung. And my burlap was kind of a thick size. I'll link the dimensions down below for you guys, but you're going to go ahead and pull it through, but just make sure it doesn't get twisted. My fingers were having a bit of a time with it, so you have to kind of unroll it as you go. That was probably the most trickiest part for me, was that it kept getting twisted. So anyway, you're going to go ahead and squish it down again, and then hold on to it there at the top, and you're going to twist it 3 times in the back, and that'll keep it from unfurling on you or undoing. And then you're going to push it through again the bottom, and you just work your way up each time until you get to the top, and you just continue to repeat this process over and over again until you get all the way around the wreath. Now a little tip is the first one of these I did, the loops were a little bit large, and I did these loops a little bit smaller this time, and I feel like I got better results and I didn't use as much burlap. So just continue to work that burlap magic and pull those little loops through 3 times, twist in the back, and then go back down and start the process back over again. Once I got to the end of my wreath, I just used a piece of pipe cleaner, and I just pipe cleanered that little end piece on. And also I wanted to let you all know that Walmart and the craft stores also sell these large, big, long spools of burlap that you guys can make these wreaths with. I think Walmart's is about $4 or $5, and I'm not sure about the craft stores, but I will leave that coupon code for the burlapfabric.com down below if you guys want to check any of their burlap stuff out.
So once you have your burlap wreath all ready to roll, or you could add this into a floral wreath as well, I'm attaching the little happy fall y'all jar sign onto the burlap wreath just with some black pipe cleaners, and then I want to go ahead and snip the ends off of that. Now we're going to create an Olivia bow. So you're just going to take some of that Dollar Tree wired ribbon, and you're just going to loop it over on itself. This is super easy. You guys can see I'm just looping that ribbon over on itself. I want to do that about 3 times on each side, and then I'm going to to find the center of my bow. I'm going to cut 2 tiny little notches and make sure they're tiny notches. And then I'm going to take that pipe cleaner and I'm going to wrap the pipe cleaner around my bow, kind of pinch it in the center. But the little notches are going to help you guys really fluff your bow out really well. So give your bow a really good fluffing. And so you can pull the little loops out and kind of twist them out. That's going to give you that really boutique, gorgeous bow. And this was so easy. You just loop the ribbon over on itself, cut it in the center, and tie on the little pipe cleaner so you have something to tie it onto your wreath with. Now I'm going to add another Olivia bow stacked on top of this one. This is using that buffalo check plaid ribbon that I found at Hobby Lobby. This step, of course, is, you know, extra. You guys just know I love to go super extra with my bows. I also had added in a little bit of the Dollar Tree orange ribbon and the Dollar Tree polka dot ribbon. So check out this bow, y'all. I mean, I am in love with big bows. I love big bows and I cannot lie. It's true. I just do. So I'm going to use up the rest of this ribbon. This was that chevron wired ribbon from Dollar Tree. Again, I stacked another bow on top of it because we can't be outdone from the top bow to the bottom bow. I do usually do, though, my bottom bows a little bit smaller, but I like to kind of offset them in this fashion. So you're just going to wire that onto the base of your wreath. I also added in some of that orange ribbon from Dollar Tree just to kind of give it that offsetted kind of cohesive look. So now that I have the bows added, I decided to just go ahead and take some of the Dollar Tree sunflowers off of their stems and just add a tiny bit of hot glue onto the bows. I kind of arranged them where I wanted them, and now I'm just gluing them on. I'm gluing them onto the ribbon and also kind of to the burlap base. I just really thought that looked super adorable. I thought it looked really cute actually too without the florals, but I love adding florals and going super over the top. And since it's happy fall, y'all, I thought that would just really tie in the ribbons and the little mason jar, and it really pops against that burlap. So I used some of the yellow Dollar Tree sunflowers and then some daisies, and so I just thought it came out really, really adorable. Again, the sky is the limit on this one. You guys could have so much fun. Decorate this to suit your home style colors. I also created some really tiny cute little mini pumpkins, so I popped a mini pumpkin in underneath the big bow and then one underneath that small bow, and then I just felt like it needed a little something on this sign to kind of pull it all together. So I just whipped out my paintbrush and a little bit of white paint, and I'm going in and just kind of adding some dimension to the sign. Now this part I should have done before I added this sign to the wreath. Totally. So I was careful, you know, trying not to get paint anywhere else, but I thought it looked super adorable, and it just gave it that little extra pop that it needed, you know, just to kind of make it look a little bit more rustic and have some dimension. Here is the finished product, and you guys, I was just so over the moon with this. I thought this turned out so fun. Dollar Tree DIY. I'm going to make a super adorable kind of fall Halloween Dollar Tree wreath. So I'm taking 5 bundles of the Dollar Tree Deco mesh and I'm cutting them in 10-inch strips. And here is me after I cut all my bundles, and then I'm just kind of bundling them together by grabbing 3 strips and pinching them into the center. And I had these kind of rolled in like a little curly Q or burrito. So the Dollar Tree Deco mesh kind of already is formed in that form, so it's a really easy way to do it. And then I just zip tied it to the center part of my little wreath form. And I am going to do lots of zip tying here. Basically, I'm just going to fill up this whole wreath form with all of my Deco mesh. So pop a great show on or some fun music. You guys are going to see me doing some super awkward mom dancing here. Here it is. I hope you guys get a good laugh out of it. But I was jamming out to some 90s tunes. So I'm a 90s girl, and so if you guys feel me there, if you just love to jam out while you're crafting, drop a comment down below and let me know what your favorite genre is. In fact, that can be the secret question for this video. I am giving away a $100 Hobby Lobby gift card, so drop a comment down below and let me know, what are your favorite tunes? Who is your favorite artist? Maybe I need to take some tips from you guys and get some new jamming out music. So anyway, and also in total on this one, I ended up using 6 rolls of Deco mesh. So again, they're just cut in 10-inch strips. I'm bundling 3 pieces of Deco mesh together. You can curl them or they're going to kind of naturally curl. And by curling, I just mean you take and you roll them into like a little burrito, or you can just kind of pinch them together and they're already kind of rolled up. So I hope that makes sense. Also, let me know if you guys have questions. Don't be afraid of the mesh. It makes a fun little fabulous wreath. The next thing I'm doing is I'm just going to take a zip tie and zip tie this super cute little happy pumpkin. I feel like this pumpkin can be like fall or Halloween. And then I'm going to make a really pretty bow. I'm actually going to make a couple bows. So I'm just using my easy bow maker. You guys can grab them at the craft store or on Amazon or at Deco Exchange. And I'm going to make 6-inch loops, and that'll be 12 inches for the entire length of the bow. Now, I do love the easy bow maker. When I cheat on my bows, it kind of holds it for me. So it can kind of allow me to be super lazy, which I kind of like to be when I've been doing a lot of deco mesh cutting and all of that stuff. And so I'm using some of this Dollar Tree ribbon. I use the witch hat ribbon, and then I found one roll only of this Harlequin ribbon, which gosh, I love this ribbon, you guys. I think it's so pretty, and this is all Dollar Tree ribbon. And then I'm using the candy corn ribbon. I really wish I would have been patient and done this wreath when I had like a really pretty like candy corn ribbon, but I think I'll probably have to go on Amazon and order that, and maybe I can pop some of that in, you know, once the season gets a little bit closer and I'm decorating more for fall Halloween. I don't usually decorate for Halloween until a little bit closer to the end of fall, or sometimes actually I'll just mix it all in together. I don't think there's any wrong or right way. So I'm zip tying my little bow on. I just made several layers, and again on the bow I pretty much kept all the loops 6 inches across or 12 inches wide. And I did make another bow that's exactly like the first bow to put at the base of my wreath. And then once I had that popped on, and I'm just zip tying everything on. I've gotten so addicted to zip ties. I feel like they hold a lot better than the pipe cleaners I normally use. But hey, pipe cleaners are good too. I just happen to have a lot of zip ties on hand, so I'm trying to use what I have, to be honest with you. And now I'm just making like some little scrappy ribbon loops here. So just cut your ribbons, and they're about 10 to 12 inches long. And then I'm zip tying them into the side to kind of fill this wreath out just a little bit more. So there's no real rhyme or reason, just kind of add balance by using some of the leftover ribbon. And again, that's also going to use up the rest of those ribbon rolls. And here I have my little happy joy pumpkin wreath. I feel like it's just so happy and almost kind of silly and whimsical. But I'm using some Dollar Tree pumpkins. They have orange pumpkins with the little black polka dots, and then also these little purple ornaments. Again, these are all from Dollar Tree. So this is totally a Dollar Tree wreath, and listen, I had so much fun making it. I hope you guys are inspired to try one. I was always so afraid of deco mesh, but I really have gotten so much less afraid, and I hope I'm sharing my instructions with you guys or helping you guys be less afraid. But it's super easy and you can't go wrong. It's so puffy, it almost covers up any mistakes. Oh, and Dollar Tree also has these cute little sparkly pre-made bows. I added a couple of those underneath my top bow to kind of fill it out, but it really wasn't necessary. It might have been a waste of that detail, but if you get really close up, you'll be able to see it. So anyway, I just thought it was really fun, and now I have my Halloween fall wreath already made. I really love to get as many of my wreaths made as possible before the season hits, so that way I can decorate my studio, my front door. I like to put one on my dining room door, and then also one in my kitchen. So I hope you guys are inspired and you're loving it. And if you guys look at it, it almost looks like my little wreath has on earrings. So I guess it must be a girl. For the first DIY, I want to share with you all how to make a super adorable deco mesh fall wreath. So I'm starting out with a Dollar Tree wreath frame and some of the deco mesh from Hobby Lobby. It is so cute, and so I'm just making poofs and using these zip ties. So I'm just making a poof and zip tying it on every little, you can see the little straight prong that's on the wreath form. That's where I'm zip tying it, is into the center part of that prong. So it's super easy, you guys. Do not be afraid of the deco mesh. And again, I did get this deco mesh at Hobby Lobby, and so I'm just making a little poof and tying it off with the zip tie. Now you guys can also use pipe cleaners or wire or whatever really suits your fancy. I usually actually do use pipe cleaners, but I am fresh out and I've gotten so hooked and spoiled on these zip ties. It's just making it so easy. So the next thing I want to do is add another layer of poofs as well. And so I'm just going to zip tie again into another part of the wreath frame, but I'm going to do it in between the prongs this time and just pull like the little poofs out. And I would say the poofs are probably about 12 to 14-inch poofs. Possibly. I didn't measure them, and I don't really do a whole lot of deco mesh wreaths, so you'll have to bear with me, but know that if I can do it, you guys can totally do it. And you guys can see that you can still see the frame in here. So we're only going to use one roll though of the deco mesh. And again, I did get the deco mesh at Hobby Lobby. All of their fall goodies are 40% off. It's going to be in with the fall stuff, and it's this really pretty kind of orange and white check, which I really just kind of fell for. I thought it was really soft and cute and fun. So once you're done getting all those poofs, you can just go ahead and kind of poof them out. The next thing I wanted to do was cut some 12-inch long poofs. Okay, I'm going to use these and then also some ribbon. So again, this ribbon is from Hobby Lobby, and I'm cutting 12-inch strips of ribbon, and I'm going to layer the extra deco mesh underneath the little ribbon. And this might be kind of unconventional, but this is how I like to do some of my deco mesh wreaths. I just think it's so much easier than making all those cuts. But feel free to cut and, you know, poof around your deco mesh, however you love to make it. Okay, the next thing you guys can see me doing is I'm taking my ribbon and I'm dovetailing the ends of the ribbon. So I'm cutting a little triangle in an upward direction, and then I'm just going to take two of my poofs and kind of squishy them together, or ruffle them with my fingers, or, you know, just kind of whatever floats your boat. I'm trying to get the maximum out of my poofs as possible with my deco mesh. Now I'm taking my ribbon and I'm layering the black and white buffalo check, the orange and white, and then the smaller ribbon with the plaid and also the orange. So I did 4 different types of ribbons, and now I'm just going to pop them in and zip tie them to, again, those little prongs that are on the center part of my wreath form that I already zip tied my original poof to. So I'm going to end up using about 6 of these extra like poofs with the ribbon. So you will want to make sure that you have plenty of ribbon on hand, but even with this amount of ribbon, I did cut extra, and so you guys are going to see in some of my other DIYs how I use that extra ribbon. I think that's always fun to do as well. So now I'm just kind of pulling the ribbon out so you can really get the maximum cuteness and poofness, and give me some grace here. I do need to just kind of, you know, kind of arrange things as I go. But anyway, you guys are just going to repeat that process. So do the layers of the deco mesh, and I did 2 of these. I cut them all at about 12 inches, and then I'm adding in those poofs. So I'm just continuing to add in my little bundles and kind of give them a bit of a fluffing. And I'm also going to end up adding a sign into this as well. There's so many ways you guys can do these, but really if you have some deco mesh and some ribbon, you're pretty good to go. So you guys can see I added in the pumpkin spice and everything nice. That's a Dollar Tree sign. And then I'm going to use my Easy Bow Maker, and I'm going to make a cute little bow. I always like to save enough ribbon when I'm doing these wreaths to add in a bow. So I'm using a 6-inch on either side of my bow. So you guys can see that those center little wood posts on my bow maker is what holds my ribbon in. And then I'm just dovetailing the ends. And then so I go 6 inches on each side. It's really nice because it has, you know, a little measurement tool. And if you're looking for these bow makers, you guys can find them on Deco Exchange or in your local craft stores or on Amazon. Now, sometimes those little center prongs get a little annoyed and I have to hammer them back in. So anyway, but otherwise they're a great little bow tool. So I'm adding in my smaller ribbon and still dovetailing those ends. And then I'm just going to use a zip tie to tie my bow. That way it's nice and tight together. And then I zip tied it onto the top part of my wreath, and I kind of made it go off to the side, and then I'm gonna give it a nice little fluffing here. So again, these are so fun to make. You guys can just have so much fun. Now I happened to pop into my local thrift store and I found these acorn, these cute little acorn ornaments. That's what I'm trying to say. I do want to do another fall tree, but my Christmas trees are up in my attic, so I thought I would add some of these ornaments into this cute little wreath. I also found some little fall leaves at the thrift store, and they were the darker brown color, so I wanted to incorporate that in since I did choose this darker sign. Again, this is a Dollar Tree sign. It says pumpkin spice and everything nice. And you guys have to let me know what you think about this. How did I do with my color combos? Sometimes I do get a little bit nervous with the deco mesh wreaths because I like to add in so many different colors color combos, but I think that the black and white with the little black and white blanket ladder is so cute, so fun and fabulous on a total budget. We are going to start with this large, it almost looks like an elongated toolbox. I found it at the thrift store for $3. It was a total score. And then I'm going to take these flowers that I bought on clearance. They are at Michael's. They were 70% off, and I do have some foam dropped down into my little base here. I'm starting with these taller orange sunflowers. Now you guys can really find sunflowers pretty much anywhere right now. I always start with my taller pieces, and then I want to mix in greenery. Greenery is a great place to start when you're doing any kind of floral arrangement, and we are going to get really big with this one and go over the top. Now, these are some really pretty smaller orange florals. I'm going to pop them in a little bit further down below, kind of as more of an accent piece, and I want to kind of make them look like they're blooming out. So you can see I kind of have them tilted. Now these sunflowers, again, these are in a bundle. You can buy them at Dollar Tree. I found these, I believe, at Michael's, and they were actually in the summer section. So just a quick little tip, when you look for florals for super cheap, look at their tag, see if they're at the end of the season, which a lot of their summer flowers will work for fall, because they do have sunflowers everywhere showing for fall. So just, I went ahead and put sunflowers on either end, and then I'm continuing to build my flower arrangement. Now I'm going to go really over the top, really big. I almost want to feel like this is going to be a fall wedding display. I did not have plan on this, but you guys, I just went crazy with the flowers. So I popped 3 sunflower bundles in. I sprinkled one on each end and then one in the center. And then I'm picking them in with these smaller little orange flowers. The other little tip I have for you guys is to cut your stems at varying heights. So you don't want them all the same. Now here I'm picking in some more grass, and this grass again was a summer grass. So look for your summer colors right now that will work for fall that are on clearance. Now, once the end of summer is over and I transition more into fall, I may pull out a little bit of the yellow sunflowers and just put in more leaves. We'll have to see, because this arrangement I'm pretty pleased with at the end. So also don't forget to pick in your greenery in the center and go for some height. That is going to give it some drama. Again, these are more summer flowers. These are just some pretty little kind of trailing flowers. I love to add another dimension. So you guys want to look for more dimension. Now here's some Dollar Tree wheatgrass. This is in kind of that burnt yellow color. I wanted to, again, to add more dimension. So just have fun with your flower arrangements. Pick out about 5 to 6 different picks and then all kind of go with the same hue. So these are also Dollar Tree. They're little tiny cream colored flowers, and I'm just popping them in because I do have a lot of a white backdrop, so I didn't want it to be completely stark without any accent pieces. So go dark light, and then look at the decor around you and try and pull in some of that as well. Now you can see I'm also putting some greenery kind of to the back, so you can see it sprigging out and to the side, but have fun with it, you guys. Go for it. Add a ton of flowers. Listen, I wanted this floral arrangement to burst, to just scream happy. I haven't done a really over the top floral arrangement in a while, and you guys can tell I've been missing it. I love to share with you guys how you can have a boutique gorgeous home on a budget. These flowers cost me $40 total because they were 70% off at Michael's. So you guys can also look at Dollar Tree. You can look at Hobby Lobby, use those coupons, shop those sales, and have fun and go for it. Now, the other thing I'm popping in is some more kind of wispy, smaller sunflowers. So a good thing to do too is to look for larger and then smaller and then larger and smaller, and that will help you give your arrangement some dimension. And then the next thing I wanted to add was just one more little bundle of some smaller little orangish flowers. These are just so great to pick in, and that way, again, you're giving dimension and you're giving some different size difference. I'm trimming this off because I want it to be a little bit shorter. So I just put my shorter flowers in front of my arrangement and then leave your stems taller and longer towards the back and the center. If you're going to go for this look, now again, this is totally over the top, and really I just wanted it to scream happiness and joy and just have fun with it. Now here's some of those Dollar Tree feathers. You guys know I'm totally in love with these. I'm going to put them in the front of the arrangement because it's so tall. I didn't want them to get lost, so I want them to kind of cascade out. They also have that kind of bit of raffia or wheat kind of hanging off of them. So again, it's giving more transition and more dimension for the eye to look at. Here's another fun little tip for you all, is to take some of your floral stems and pop your little styrofoam pumpkins onto them. So these are those Dollar Tree velvet pumpkins. I popped several different colors into here. The other thing I went ahead and did is I used a greenery garland, and I mixed that in with a fall garland, and the brown fall garland came from Michael's as well. So I noticed that a lot of like really beautiful fall arrangements have greenery mixed in, which I've really never thought about doing, but I thought it was a great idea. And so here is how it looks after I added all of my flowers, and I just wanted to give you guys some confidence to do a really pretty arrangement. Now you don't have to go this big. If you don't have a mantel, that's okay. You could do this on an entryway table. You could do something smaller on a dining room table or a little cabinet. Just use whatever you all have. This really isn't even a mantle. It's actually just a shelf that Mr. Romantic built for me to kind of make it look like a mantle. Now the other thing I'm going to do is share with you guys how I created this beautiful bow. So I'm going to take my Easy Bow Maker, and this is just some buffalo check plaid ribbon that I ordered online. You can also find it at Hobby Lobby in their Christmas section. It's a better deal to get it at Hobby Lobby, and Hobby Lobby is also shipping, just a little FYI. So I'm starting out with my Easy Bow Maker, and I added the little pipe cleaner at the bottom. And then I'm doing a 7-inch bow, so it's going to be 7 inches on either side. This is a really large bow, and I'll tell you the reason, because I have a really large floral. Now I'm going in with some of that beautiful Dollar Tree fall leaf ribbon. And I also want to tell you guys that you're going to twist it as you work with a ribbon that has a pattern on the side. So you can see I'm going back and forth and twisting it. And also I'm just making the second loop about 6 inches in length. You can make it the same. The 7-inch seemed a little bit long even for me. And so now I'm going to go ahead and just trim this ribbon off. Always cut a triangle upwards, and that will give you that pretty boutique finish. Now I'm going to go in with this beautiful, this is an orange check ribbon, and this is actually from Michael's. I'm mixing like craft store ribbon and Dollar Tree ribbon, which is another little kind of secret tip that I have. Now Dollar Tree is actually putting out a lot of really great fall ribbon, so don't be worried if you can't spend the extra on the craft store ribbon, or you only can get out and go to Dollar Tree. That's okay too, but it's fun to mix a little bit more of a high-end ribbon, especially if you can use your coupon and get a great deal on it, and mix that in with some of the Dollar Tree ribbon, because the Dollar Tree ribbon can be a little bit flimsy at sometimes. Now I'm taking this, it's kind of like a Mackenzie Childs inspired ribbon. Again, this is from Amazon. It's not their actual brand, but I'm mixing that in as well. So for the Easy Bow Maker, it's super easy. You just go back and forth with your ribbon. And I also will leave a bow video down below for you guys. Don't worry if you don't have an Easy Bow Maker. I still have a really fabulous video for you guys on how to make an Olivia bow, which I love. I've been cheating though and using my Easy Bow Maker. It just goes so fast and it gives me a little bit of a different bow. So again, I'm dovetailing my ends, and I really just pretty much kept all those other loops about 6 inches long on either side. Now I did splurge and I get this pretty pumpkin ribbon. Again, this is from Michael's, but I did use my coupon, so that helped a lot. And I'm just going to go ahead and add that in. Now I'm going to make this just a little bit smaller because I don't want it to get swallowed up in this last loop, and it is my show off ribbon. So I like to leave my prettiest ribbon that I want to show off with the most pattern for the last bow, and it saves ribbon a little bit because you're going to always make that last bow just a little bit smaller, at least I did. And then you're just going to pull it off the Easy Bow Maker, and you're going to kind of cinch it in with your pipe cleaner. And then I wanted to attach it to my arrangement, and my idea was to do cascading bows that matched. I'm going to twin my bows on either side of my arrangement, and I just honestly used a push pin to attach it. So hopefully it doesn't get yanked on. I don't have small children, so it'll be fine. But here is how that arrangement looks. Oh my goodness, you guys can totally do this. The bows, I did a lot of fluffing, and I'll be honest with you all, I will probably do more fluffing. The other thing, I actually ran out of one of the Mackenzie Childs inspired ribbons on one side, so I just kind of had to make do with the buffalo check. If you guys can see on that right hand side that it did come out just a tiny bit different, but that's okay. Now for some of my fall decorating, I found these really cute little pillows on Amazon, and then I'm just using my little Dollar Tree pumpkins right here and some other pumpkins that I had DIY'd. Dollar Tree has some super adorable pumpkins. You guys, you know that I am a pumpkin obsessed, so I just used the cute little pillows I ordered off Amazon, and these are actually pillow covers, which are really great. And then these little cute thrift store pumpkins on either side. I have this cute little rug from Dollar General that I put in front of it. I actually need to redo my floors, so don't look too closely. And then there's that little blanket ladder I shared with you guys a DIY on. It's actually paint sticks, so you can make a blanket ladder out of paint sticks and just make it super adorable. And then there's that DIY Dollar Tree plunger tree that I shared with you guys on. So as always, comment and let me know what you all think about this arrangement. Now you all know that I go totally over the top crazy with my floral arrangements. I just love to have a big burst of floral in my home for some of my favorite seasons. And can I just tell you, I am so looking forward to fall. We have so much more crafting and decorating to do. I love to start with one big major arrangement and then kind of build the rest of my decor around that. And honestly, I wasn't even for sure where I was going to go with my fall decorating.
Thank you all so much for joining me on another fun and fabulous crafty decor adventure. It is a true blessing and honor to have you all here. If you all are new, welcome. I'm Olivia with Olivias Romantic Home. I love to share with you guys how you can make your homes boutique gorgeous on a budget. I truly believe that y'all don't have to break the bank to have a fabulous, amazing home. This is episode 7 in my I Love Fall series. Go back and check out the rest of the I Love Fall series. I have a playlist put together for you guys of all of my seasonal decorating, and I've been doing that for several years here on YouTube, so you guys can binge watch a bunch of those videos. I do tons of compilation videos for you guys to get inspired and to stay motivated to craft and decorate on a budget. And speaking of staying motivated, I know a lot of you all have been inspired by some of my talks that I've been having kind of at the end of every video. And basically I'm just saying, you know, no matter where you're at in your life's journey, give yourself some grace and keep putting one foot in front of the other. I believe that every day that we're given is a gift from God, and it's our gift to go out there and make the world a little bit better place. And that's starting by like a little smile, or maybe you give somebody's Facebook post a like, or you do something nice for a neighbor or a friend. I truly believe that putting goodness out into the world, you'll get goodness come back to you. Even if there's bumps along the way, don't ever lose sight of having a good heart. I feel like you can celebrate that. I've always been very sensitive and had a good heart and try to do my best as much as I can. So I just encourage you guys also to be kind online. This is a social media platform that you're on, and commenting kind comments on my video not only blesses me, but it blesses others that are reading that. And I'm very, very proud of my community. I'm proud of all of you guys because you guys have always used your voice for good. So continue to do that. And not even just on this video, but you guys can do that if you're scrolling through Facebook or Instagram or TikTok and you see something that somebody's posted and it's really nice. Maybe it's their grandkids or their kids and they're proud of them. Just give them a heart and a nice comment. And if you see something online that you don't like, you don't have to comment on it. Just keep scrolling past. That's my little tidbit. I just feel like the energy that we put out when it's good, it comes back. So try to just stay kind online. because this is a big online community now in this world that we're living in. So I'm hugging all of your hearts so tight. If you need prayers, drop that prayer request down below. This is a praying community. I'm proud of y'all. I can't wait for our next video. And until then, remember, be kind to yourselves and be kind to one another. Talk to you guys very soon. Bye-bye.